is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Welcome to Nefarious Cast. Today we're starting on a somber note. As many of you know, I have a co-employee here who is my little Bruno. Unfortunately, he has come to me lately and says that he has made an appointment at the vet. Apparently, he is uncomfortable with himself, and he is going to be, he says he wants to be a duck. And I don't know what to do about it. We're going to ask you guys for some input and some help, but I'm not sure how to approach that situation with him. He's identifying as a duck. I tried to explain that the vet can only do so much. He's got hair. Ducks have feathers. I just don't know. Maybe they have a festrogen pill, something that grow the feathers out. I don't know. Get rid of the hair. I tried having a talk with him already, explaining that he's not going to be able to lay any eggs. Even if he did, he's so fucking fat that he would just crush him. It's hard to know what to say to him. He's such a lovable little guy, and this came out of nowhere. I did not see it coming. I guess they could put a bill on him. Maybe web his feet. He can't swim worth a damn right now, so I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe a little practice, he'll improve that. But I don't know. I'm just so afraid that he's going to just more come out looking. He's going to look like a damn platypus in the end. It's not going to be even like a duck. I tried telling him these things. So really, if anybody has any pointers, if anybody in your family, if you've dealt with this situation to where, you're dealing with somebody who identifies as a duck, what did you do? I'm not sure what to do. I'm at a loss. You try to raise your little ones up and best you can and be there for them and support them, but some decisions that they make just are tough ones, and I'm not fully on board with it, but it's not my life. So if Bruno wants to go to the vet and become a fat little hairy duck, I guess that's his choice. So in any case, are you fucking kidding me? Does it sound better when you go through something like that? I mean, seriously, folks. That is the conversation that's going around this world right now. Or more the United States. The world thinks we're out of our fucking minds. Ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing? What kind of morals are going around right now? Now, I'm not going to condemn anybody. You want to go lap off your nuts, paint yourself brown, and call yourself a Tootsie Roll? I don't give a damn. But stop shoving it down everybody else's throat. Okay? This is just getting way out of hand. Everything we watch, everywhere we go, they're just bombarding this discussion with us, and I'm here to tell you, some of us are just done and over it. We want to just go back to normal, regular life. I don't care what you do. I'll respect your choices. Just don't be throwing everything up in my face anymore. And I think that's where a lot of people are at. Because that conversation is about the same conversation that's going around. I'm watching videos left and right, and you can't escape it anymore. So let's put it out there. Nobody cares what you do with your body. Okay? I don't give a damn. You're the one who has to live with it. You're the one who has to answer for your own choices. But stop throwing your choices, because basically what you're doing is telling people how to think. Okay? That's how you're doing it. And you may not you may not agree with that, but I'm here to tell you, when you're throwing it up in my face, telling me all the time that I got to respect this or that, or I have to be okay with this or that, you are now telling me how to think. You have now become the same person that took 1 million or so Jews and tried to exterminate them and change the mentality of everybody's mind on how to view those people. Okay? Literally, that is what you're doing. You are trying to convince everybody that they are supposed to think a certain way. And if they don't think that way, they're wrong. I've got news for you. People should be thinking for themselves. They may not agree with you. It's not their responsibility to tell you you're wrong. They can voice an opinion. Don't get me wrong. It is a free country. But my personal view is, I'm not going to get up in your face. You do what you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody but yourself. I couldn't care less. I will respect your choice. But stop trying to tell me that I'm supposed to think a certain way and that the rest of the world has to think the way you think, or we're wrong. I have morals and guidelines that guide me, as do other people, and we choose what those morals are. And if we choose that we don't want to have anything to do with people's sexual preferences and their identification of themselves, then that is our choice. So, that being said, I don't care if you're trying to become a duck. I don't care if you're trying to do, whatever it is you're trying to do. What I do care about is that you keep trying to tell me how to think, and that is just totally unacceptable. So, now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to make this a pretty short video. We are going to start talking about character. Nobody's really wrote in on anything. I'm going to put my emails up again, just like I always do. Put them a little bigger so people can see it. Write in. You're going to be anonymous. And maybe I should have put that in the first couple of videos. If you send an email, you will be anonymous. I'm not going to read your name. If you write in and you're a chick, I'll probably change it and be like, Little Bo Peep from Alabama says, it's going to be something like that, unless you got a specific avatar or name you want to be called, or if you just want me to use your first name, in the email, include that stuff. Otherwise, I'm not going to tell anybody anything about who you are. I'm going to make up something myself. But I won't change the content of your message. I'll just alter it so that nobody knows who you are, so that you're anonymous. If that's what it takes, well, I mean, I assume that's the way people would think, but I'm telling you, write in. Let's discuss some topics that you all want to talk about. I cannot believe people don't have anything to say. So I'm going to keep picking things. And you may not like the things I pick. They might not be, what you're feeling for the day, what's been bothering or gnawing at you for the week. So, I want to pick things that are relevant to you. If you're buying a home or something, let's talk about, what you need to go through for buying a home. Building a home. I got lots to say about that one. Holy moly. There's so many people who are building homes right now. I'd be scared to live in some of them. But in any case, I figure we'll have a little series. We'll talk about character. That seems to be something that is really lacking in society here today. We are literally hitting all the equipment and it's shaking, but we are literally suffering on character. I mean, I look things up on the internet, and I literally, in fact, I need to bring something up here that I actually erased out of. We're going to bring up integrity. And the reason why we're going to start with that is I think there's a lot of base. I mean, from what I'm seeing on the internet, there is a lot of character traits that are more description of a personality trait and not so much a character trait. I suppose it could be in some cases, but they list about 300 or 400. Some of them list 600 and 800 character traits. There is not that many. You have, in my opinion, a core base of character traits. Okay. The rest are personality traits, and there's a lot of. I'm going to read you off a couple of things here. The first one is this is how Webster's dictionary defines integrity. Okay, there's got 3 different parts to it. So here's the first part: a firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values, incorruptibility. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, an unimpaired condition, soundness. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, the quality or state of being, complete or undivided, completeness. So those are the three short definitions under integrity for Webster's dictionary. I deal with integrity of certain things in my field as an inspector. I inspect a lot of people's welds. People take a test. They have to, a person, each company has something called a procedure. It's a welding procedure. It is nothing more than a recipe for a weld. Okay. It gives all the parameters for a certain type of weld. And when a welder goes to certify himself, and just for all you people out there who think there are master welders, there are not master welders out there. That's some bullshit Jesse James came up with. It's some TV crap. What you have are welders who will certify for multiple different procedures that involve multiple different welding, how can I say it, and I can't believe I'm drawing a blank of it right now at this time. Whether they're welding stick, MIG, TIG, flux core, there's many different processes. There we go. That's the word I was searching for. There's multiple processes and that you can weld, and depending on what you're welding, this procedure there's essential variables that make the procedure up. Okay, these variables that if you change this a variable in the procedure, you now have to retest or rewrite a new procedure depending on what you're doing, because you've changed the recipe. Okay. In any case, welders test. They take this recipe, they look at the parameters for the recipe, and they set their welder and they weld up test coupons in order to certify themselves so that they can get that welder qualification saying that I've taken this recipe, I've welded this weld up, I've used all the ingredients of the recipe, amps, volts, travel speed, uphill, downhill, all these things that are essential variables, and I have produced this weld, and this weld is sound. And that's really what testing a welder is about. It's creating a sound weld. And when in my business, it's creating a weld that meets the mechanical properties and things, that it meets the tensile tests and the bend tests or any x-rays. It's basically saying that this weld is what it should be, and it can hold up and withstand to all these factors, and it produces, what it needs to. It will function as it needs to. So, and even in shipbuilding, you talk about ships, you have the soundness of the hull. You're talking about how well something is made. It's made to take a beating. It's made to hold steady and hold fast. So when we talk about integrity, that soundness is really, and the incorruptibility of things is really what we're talking about. There's a lot of things that kind of surround that. You have honesty and a few other ones that can play into this, but we're just dealing with integrity today. So, how are you when nobody's around? Do you do what you need to do? All of us are flawed people. We're tested every day. And I think part of the problem in our society is people think that what's on TV is actually the way life is. So they have structured their mentality on that. And the problem with that is that on TV, that is make-believe, okay? And there's a lot of integrity issues on that. All right? People don't do what they're supposed to do on TV because it makes, if everything were the same, everybody did what they were supposed to do, sometimes things would be boring on TV, okay? Unless you had a really good plot and things like that. It's that turmoil of things not going the way they're supposed to, and there being villains and things like that interest us. Those hairy moments in a movie or a show, those things that pique our interest, okay? And when you're dealing with integrity, you don't get a lot of that on TV. So people live their lives that way. And here we are living our lives. And how are we doing it? I think we're failing at it, my personal opinion. Do you do something simple as walk your cart back after you take your groceries out in the cart from the grocery store, you load them in your car? Are you one of those people who, just leave the cart right there in the middle of the road, or do you take it back and put it, where it's supposed to go in the cart rack? Something stupid like that, but it's so simple. Nobody's watching. I'll just leave it here. But somebody, I do it. I put it back where it's supposed to go. And somebody made a comment to me the other day that was actually in my work truck. We were running some errands, and he's like, "You must be a good person." And I asked him, "Well, How would you figure that? Not that I don't strive to be, don't get me wrong. But he's like, well, you take, good people, they say that's the test, is that if they take the cart back. But what he was really saying is that, the little things that you do, that little extra that is you striving to do the right thing, even when nobody else is watching, is what integrity is. It's having that moral fiber to have soundness of yourself, to be incorruptible and be steadfast in your thinking and beliefs, whether they're religious or social or whatever they are, and holding true to that. And hopefully what you're holding true to is correct, is something it's a solid fiber in your life of some kind. So I guess my point today is this week, go through your week and really think each day, when you have something come up to where you could cheat something, you could get away with something, you could not do the best job that you should on something, ask yourself, how is my integrity on this? Am I letting things go? Am I fudging on my integrity on all these little things? And big things start small. So one after the other, you start developing a habit of little integrity issues. Well, what happens when it's a big deal? When it's a big thing? What will you do then? You've already trained yourself that the whole of your ship as a person is fallible. So think about it this week. Tell me what you think about our topic. If you want to talk about some more character traits, we can get off the subject. I just, I really thought that think that this would be a good little series. We're not going to have 800 videos of it because I don't believe there's that many. I think like I said, there's some core ones. The rest are traits or description of things, actions and stuff like that. But, I started this video out a little goofy, but, it's kind of, I'm tired of the conversation of it already. We got companies like Budweiser losing billions of dollars. We got Disney losing billions of dollars. And don't get me wrong, I really couldn't care less. They are doing what they're doing, and I personally think there's some very stupid choices when a company gets involved in the politics. That's just not smart. So, just like I said the other day, when I go buy a beer, I don't want to be accosted by a company's politics on that beer. Just like I don't want to go buy a taco and be hit up for 10 different charities and everything else. Excuse me. When did everybody's throwing these little toppings on everything you do? And they need to just stick to what they should be doing. Beer companies should be selling beer and shut the fuck up about everything else. Disney should be making wholesome movies for kids and shut the hell up for everything else. Okay? We don't have that going on anymore. And that's where companies, are just screwing up, because what you're doing is now you're forcing people to make a choice about not your product, which might be a very good product, but about what your product represents. And when you force people to make a choice that they really don't want to make, because that's not what they came to do. And that choice is something that it corrupts their moral fiber, their integrity as a person. You're going to lose every time. At least I would think you are. I know I don't buy Budweiser anymore. That's my choice. Don't watch Disney anymore. Part of that is because my son is grown up and, is kind of outgrown it. Used to love Disney for him. Some great movies. Many, many years ago, 15 years ago. Now, if he was a little guy, I wouldn't be buying Disney movies. I wouldn't support them in any way, shape, or form. It's my job to tell my kid about certain things in life. It's not a teacher's job. You got teachers and everybody else telling transgender stuff and everything else to our kids and trying to, really taking the parent out of the equation. Well, I got news for you. How's that working? You got highest suicide rates ever among young adults. You've got parents and everybody else pissed off because it is their right to teach their kids what they want to, and the tough conversations and stuff should have nothing to do with you. If you're not the parent of the child, yeah, you're infringing on people's territories that is a very dangerous and slippery slope. So, it's just crazy times. Crazy, crazy times in our society right now. And it all comes down to one thing is people are trying to tell you how to think, how to feel. And if you don't think the way they do, you're wrong. That is the biggest load of bullshit I have ever heard. So this week, have your integrity outweigh whatever you're faced with. Have it outweigh the people around you. Even if you're the only one, if you're the only one standing in the breach, having those integrity issues and really just striving and coming through, so be it. Be a light to the rest of the people. That's one thing. I am a firm believer. Lead by example. Am I fallible and don't always do the right thing or say the right thing? Sure. But that doesn't mean I don't try and strive for it daily. My biggest pet peeve is I have zero tact in things. I know that about myself. I am a hard head with zero tact. What are you going to do about I can't go and live my life and unmake, part of what I am. I have sure tried to hone things and change things, but, it's a work in progress. And that's really where everybody in this world is at. We are all just a work in progress. But do me a favor. Don't tell me how to think. I will make my own opinions. I will think for myself. You may not agree with it. I may even say some things you may not agree with. It's my right, but I promise you I will not get up in your face on your doorstep and bombard you in your TV, because if you're tuning in right now, you are electing to watch me and hear what I have to say. And if you don't like it, go watch somebody else. It's not going to hurt my feelings. It is what it is. I'm just trying to have some conversations here with people. And we'll talk about anything, obviously. Maybe we needed a little bit of a spark. There's your spark for today. So, that being said, have a great week. Remember, fight your way and let integrity guide you. Live it. Identify when those challenges arise. Overcome them. And just strive to be the best person you can every day. Show others with respect. So, that being said, Thank you for watching, and I'll see you when I see you.